What it do, Kaizoku crew, it's your boy, Kaizoku Ice. Today's video is all about manga rares in the One Piece trading card game. As y'all know, manga rares are the chase hits. Very hard to pull, about 1.5 cases to get, which is 18 booster boxes. 18 times a retail price of 120 is, quick math, about $2,000. So it takes on average about $2,000 to pull one of these cards. It makes sense why they're so expensive. However, the prices right now are kind of insane, kind of crazy. And a lot of y'all have asked me, Kaizoku Ice, I don't know what to do. I'm literally paralyzed with fear because on one hand, if I don't buy and it goes up, I'm never going to have the card. But if I buy right now and it goes lower, I'm going to cry and be sad. So what do I do? So today's video, I'm going to give y'all my personal opinion. Once again, not financial advice. I'm just a dude with a hat, but I'm a dude with a hat that likes to think that they know some stuff about the One Piece trading card game. So I'm going to give y'all my opinion in this video, backed by the actual data, and then y'all can make your own decisions for yourselves on whether or not it's a good time to buy One Piece manga rare cards. So before I get into any of that though, let us first do a quick little 3,000 subscriber week giveaway. We've got two banger cards right here. We've got the Perona, amazing card. I talked about this recently. I had to get one for myself. This is a Perona from Premium Collection Volume 4. Very beautiful card. I absolutely love this card. And then next we've got the Ace from Psycho Jump. This card's texturing and foil is disgusting. I love it. One of the best Japanese cards in the trading card game. So please wait till the end of the video. You're gonna have to like and be subscribed. So if you haven't already liked this video, you might as well just already like it. And if you aren't already subscribed, I also don't know what you're doing because we have a giveaway that I posted on Monday for 3 graded cards as a reminder. So if you haven't entered that giveaway, please do right now and leave a like, comment, subscribe. You already know the deal. So all that being said, guys, let's get into the video. Good Lord, manga rare prices have been skyrocketing. I made a video about, 3 months ago, and kind of, not a humble brag, but a humble brag here. We were pretty exact on this. I didn't expect, the line's probably right about here, and they're probably like this. And I don't think, I look at this thing, and based on my projections, with the live action 2 coming out, then the line would go up even higher, right? It would go crazy to the right. But, whoops, wrong tab. But, I'm thinking that we are probably, I have this line here where we're peaking in the market in 2026, but honestly, I think that we could probably move this line back a little bit more, and we might be here right now, right, in October. When the live action season 2 comes out, it's hard for me to say that we're going to go up like this even more. I would think if anything it would be more of like a slow increase, and actually in between that, I would think there's probably going to be a dip, if anything, because when you see these prices right here, 98% increase, 72% increase in literally 1 month, that is just not sustainable, guys. And whether it's a One Piece trading card game market or like the global market, we've been seeing things just go up and up and up. And it's hard not to think that there'd be a correction in place, because when things go up that much, like in a short amount of time, it also goes down quickly in a short amount of time, right? So, I still am very bullish overall on the One Piece trading card game market, but, to see an almost 2x in price in the past month, surely there would be a correction, right? And I might be wrong about that. Could the raw card go up to the PSA 10 price of $3,000? It could, but I'd probably lean more towards it going down a little bit as prices stabilize a little bit more, but we will see. Anyways, I have the Excel sheet. I did go, and it took a lot of time, so if you guys just really appreciate me, once again, like, comment right now, because that does help me out a little bit. But I did go through all of TCG Player and on eBay to get all these prices here and put them in this Excel sheet. So we've got everything here, and we have the actual data behind it. So let's go in and talk about the first manga rare, which is OP01 Shanks to Romance Dawn. This card has gone insane. A month ago, it was $1,000. Today, almost $2,000. That is crazy. When you look at it here, yearly trend, okay, this is clearly wrong because if you click view more data, we've got a sale here of $1995, right? Disgusting. And then also in September, $1,900. So, you know, it pretty much proves, oh, wait, why is my thing not showing? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Anyways, sorry, a little technical difficulties. We do this all in one take because we just do things live. Anyways, guys, insane that it's gone up literally 98% in a month. And then in the PSA 10, up 72%. That is literally unheard of, but it does kind of strike me as not a concern, but I will say this. Back when the One Piece trading card game market, if I pull up my little drawing here again, this is when the Shanks manga rare back in early 2024 was selling for about $2,500. I remember at that exact point in time, I was literally licking my greedy lips and I was like, dude, I'm about to become a millionaire off of One Piece. This is fantastic. I love my life. However, as y'all can see in that chart, man, things just went down. But we are now going back up again, and it kind of makes me think, are we due for another correction where we go down? Because the last time I saw these cards this high, we went down pretty quickly. I would say I'm of mixed feelings about that, because the reason why things went down is because a live action came out back in, 2023, August or September? Might be wrong there. But, you know, if you go back to the chart, I think live action came out like around here, late 2023, and then went up a lot. We were riding at that euphoric wave of the live action. But then around, you know, March, April time, it went down quite significantly because things cooled off. Maybe there wasn't that much hype. We're probably in the Wano arc, which took freaking forever, right? And maybe things cooled down. But, you know, as I was saying earlier, I think the live action season 2 is going to be one of the biggest catalysts, and we've already gone up quite significantly. I do not think we're going to go up a lot like that, right? But, no, I do think that, you know, whether we have a short-term correction here and we go back up again, I still think that this Shanks manga has the potential to go up even higher than $3,000. Romance Dawn is one of the best sets. I talk about it a lot. It is the first set in the One Piece trading card game, and it's going to be seen as that vintage item that collectors are going to want to have for decades, right? So I think people are seeing that and realizing that, okay, you know, because this is potentially the Charizard of the One Piece trading card game, right? I have my own opinions, but people might see this as a Charizard, right, as the chase hit. Then why would it not be the one that I'm buying for $3,000 and even higher than that? So Shanks, it's hard to say. I personally, you know, if you guys don't want to watch the rest of the video because it is going to take a long time, I'm personally just staying put with my collection right now. It is a seller's market because, you know, if I was I have a Shanks manga rare, and, you know, it is very tempting right now. I bought mine for $1,000. If I could gain $2,000 profit off of that sale, you know, I would. But, you know, I'm a pure collector. I'm not in it for the money, so I don't really care to sell cards. I have actually not sold a single card ever. That might change relatively soon if cards continue to go up. But, you know, I don't really care too much about the prices like that. But it is interesting to see just how much this card has increased. I mean, if you bought in May 29th, it's up 130%. You literally 3x'd your money, right? Disgusting. So that Shanks. Moving along, we've got Ace manga rare. If we go here, it is currently $1,150, pretty high. A month ago it was $890, so that's a 29% increase. And then the difference between the past month is actually up 31% in the PSA 10. Crazy increase also. And, you know, to see the Ace at $2,100 is, to me, that's encouraging, because I feel like a lot of people sleep on OPO2 Paramount War. A lot of people just focus only on Romance Dawn and then some of the newer sets like OPO9 and OPO11. But OPO2 is essentially, you know, it's literally the second set of the One Piece trading card game. Why would the second set not do well, and why would the second manga rare in existence not do well? So, you know, it makes sense why it's one of the more higher priced manga rares, and it is also a character that we all love. It is Ace, so, you know, it makes a lot of sense. What doesn't make a lot of sense to me is the next manga rare, which is OPO3 Sogeking. I don't get it still. You know, I mentioned this card before in my last video. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to buy this card because I think it's going to stay at like $700. Well, I was wrong because it was $700 in a PSA 10, and now raw, it's $665, which is crazy. And in a PSA 10, it's $1,500. If you were one of the ballsy people that didn't listen to me when I said don't buy the Sogeking, then you have been well rewarded, because if you bought that Sogeking in a PSA 10 only 1 month ago, it's now 3x your money. It's up 172%. That is one of the Kaizoku Ice L's. Pretty rare L on my part, I will say. But, you know, I should have probably realized that all manga rares were going to have essentially a floor in a PSA 10 of about $1,000. And I probably should have tried to scoop up as many manga rares as I could. But I guess I had too much hatred in my heart, guys. I just really didn't mess with Sogeking like that. But I wish I did, because 172% increase in just 1 month. That's crazy. And this is one of the cards I would honestly believe does have regression, because to have a 172% increase in only 1 month, that's unheard of. That's actually the highest percentage if you just scroll down here and look at some of the other numbers. Yeah, that's literally the highest percentage that we have. So, a round of applause for our boy Sogeking. I don't have the card. I probably will still not buy it at $1,500, but man, that's a crazy increase, I must say. So, moving along, we got Sabo, the other brother. Sabo raw is going for $550. I think that's a pretty decent price for the card. I mean, honestly, I don't know why Sabo doesn't do as well as Luffy and Ace. I mean, he's still a brother. He's a chief in command of the Revolutionary Army, or second in command, right? And I mean, he's clearly gonna have a big part in the end game. So I would buy all the Sabo cards I could, because, you know, I feel like, if anything, that's undervalued. We could bring him to Ace and Luffy. He's like literally like more than half of their prices. And Sabo's cool, man. Sabo's really cool. So anyways, this card is up 52% in the past month raw, and up 70% in the PSA 10. You know, not too much to say about this card. I love everything from OPO1 to OPO4. I mean, honestly, I would think that the Sabo deserved to be $1,500 compared to the Sogeking, but, you know, I don't know. I'm not the one who makes these prices, but I would expect Sabo to go up a little bit more. Kid is one that I messed up on this one, guys. I did not buy this card when I should have. It was going for only $480 in a PSA 10. It's now $800 in a PSA 10. So, you know, it's still, you could call that relatively affordable, considering I think that the floor for manga rare prices is soon to be $1,000, and is coming from OPO5, which is soon to be one of the more expensive sets. A booster box of OPO5 is going for $375 right now, and you know, no one's gonna really want to rip those. I mean, you can get the Gear 5 Luffy and the Oda sign, but it's honestly more advantageous to keep OPO5 sealed. So, you know, I think that the kid could go up a little bit more. It has gone up essentially 2x, right, in the past 1 month. So, I do expect a lot more for that kid. Moving along, oh, I think I forgot to show the raw price here. Let me see. Yeah, kid. Oh, this is one of the ones. It says $950 right here, guys. This is a little bit of a, I guess, a caveat for the rest of the video. All the prices that I got here, I did get from TCG Player, right? But I also did go on, I went on View More Data, and as y'all can see, this card has not sold for $900, right? So I also, you know, I kind of estimated on some of the cards where I felt like the listing price here was not correct. And once again, on TCG Player, it's kind of easy. Let's say somebody could have just bought out all the kids here and then list the price wherever they want. So you guys have to be really careful when you're buying on, you know, some of these websites, because, you know, people can do that and they can manipulate it pretty easily. Anyways, this is not $1,000 card raw. Let me put that out there. Okay, what is $1,000 card raw though is my boy Trafalgar Law. It makes sense. Trafalgar Law should be like $1 million. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense, right? But in all seriousness, this card has had a pretty decent increase. When you look at it, a month ago it was $750. Now it's about $1,000, which is a 33% increase. In a PSA 10, it's going for $1,600. That's a 66% increase in the past month. Man, it is crazy. When I really look at these numbers and I really reflect about it, the market is so hot right now, and that actually is one of the reasons why I do believe we're due for some regression. I mean, it's just to sustain these increases in just 1 month, it's not sustainable. It's just, to me, it's not, unless, I know we've got a bunch of other people coming in. I know that there are more people coming in from like Pokemon, from the crypto world also. So I could see people trying to get, the exposure, and they're probably the ones who are buying high. But, it's, man, prices are just going up way too high, way too fast, and I don't particularly love it. Anyways, I do love this wall card though, and I'm very glad that I own it. Moving along, we're going to the cream of the crop here. Monkey D. Luffy Gear 5 manga rare. $5,000 raw, insane increases. It was only $3,400 last month. It is up 47%. And then in a PSA 10 price is now $8,000, which is honestly mind-boggling. I would assume that the Gear 5, I actually think this has sold for $10,000 at one point. Could be wrong there. Someone fact check me. But if it hasn't, I do think that Gear 5 Luffy eventually will be $10,000. I mean, it is one of the hardest cards to pull in the trading card game, and it is literally Gear 5 Luffy, so, it makes a lot of sense. I have the same sentiment, actually, for the Oda-sign Luffy. In my opinion, that's the one card that you guys should own, because it literally has our Lord and Savior Ichiro Oda signature on it, and it makes sense why it is up 60% and 100% in the past month. Literally a month ago, it was $4,000, now it's $8,000. Kind of insane, right? Kind of insane. But, it also shows, as I mentioned in the last video, it is pretty much a Luffy market right now. Anything Monkey D. Luffy is going to do well. So, if you guys haven't positioned yourself accordingly, hint, hint, get your Luffy cards. Things are about to get crazy. I mean, someone actually mentioned to me a while back, like, I think One Piece is starting to get more mainstream, which is crazy because I feel like it's already pretty mainstream with like the Dodgers collab, Lakers, all these sports collabs. But we literally have, and I'm not condoning this, but we have people flying the One Piece flags in other countries as symbols of rebellion. That is crazy, and that shows the impact that One Piece has on us in real life. So, that could also be a little bit of a reason why prices are increasing. I don't think it's the main reason, but it just goes to show people love One Piece. And if people love One Piece, our cards are going to do well. So, all right, moving along, we're at OP06 Zoro manga rare. This card raw, okay, this is Oda signed. This card raw is going for $1,300, which makes sense because it's Zoro, but man, this card is expensive. In the past month, it's up 68%. Raw and up 53% in a PSA 10. This is one of the only manga rares not from one of the special sets like EB01 and EB02 that is over or at $2,000 in a PSA 10. That is insane, and it is good to show, or it feels good to see, and it kind of shows that the more popular characters do well, or do more well than other less popular characters. But I also feel like that has some opportunity for us to find and identify some of those lower release popular characters and get those cards, because I feel like there's a lot of mind share right now on the Luffy, Zoros, and the Namis, and there's other ones that you can probably pivot to and also see some of these crazy 50% increase gains, right? So I love this Zoro, also out of my price budget. Actually, literally every one of these cards are out of my price budget, but it is kind of good to see the numbers, and also serves for me kind of as a historical reference. So when I look at this a month later, we'll see, is a Zoro still at $2,000? We shall see. So moving along, we got OP07 Boa. Boa is going for $1,000 raw, which is crazy. Actually, yeah, that's actually crazy. That's up 49% in the past month. In a PSA 10, 62.5%. Man, I mean, it makes sense because Boa Hancock is Boa Hancock. I mean, she is the love interest of Luffy, even though Luffy, he don't need no woman. He is just a dude trying to find the One Piece. But Boa's a banger. Boa is a banger. So, it makes sense why it is up, 50% in the past month. Also, I realize I haven't been mentioning, the percent differences from June till now and from May till now, but I hope you guys are just kind of following along. If you guys aren't looking at numbers, pretty much everything is up a lot from June and in May. If you bought in June and May, you win. Congratulations. You're up probably more than like 50%, 50 to 100% on your purchases. So moving along, we got Old Man Rayleigh. I was always the biggest hater of this card, but as y'all can see, prices have increased. This is actually the cheapest raw manga rare, as y'all can see on TCG Player. It's only going for $375, which, once again makes sense because this is a lesser popular character. However, I do think that the floor for mangas is going to continue to increase, even for a guy like Old Man Rayleigh. And, as y'all can see, 44% increase, 51% increase in a PSA 10. I still think that this card, even though I don't love it, is probably going to go a little bit higher because when I think about it, and this is probably going to be a video that I'm going to put out next, manga rares are going to be, they're going to price out a lot of people, and they're going to be ones that are really for the more like die-hard collectors or people with, honestly, funds to buy these cards. But I do see a lot of opportunity for some of the lower price cards to go up a lot more because, I myself, I'm not buying anything because everything's just too expensive, but I am still buying some of these lower price cards. And if you watch my video upcoming next, you'll probably end up seeing some of those cards to buy that I do think have the potential to have these 50% increases in the next month. So anyways, that's enough for Rayleigh. Let's go into some of the heavy hitters. We've got Goldie Roger himself, $7,000 raw. I don't think it's actually going for that because if you look, I put the price as 5,000 because in the PSA 10, I didn't see, I think the PSA 10 price is about what, like 8,000 or 9,000, right? If you look here, nothing sold for over $3,300, but I just went in between, 7,000 and 3,000, got 5,000. Y'all can see here, BGS 10 Goldie Roger manga went for 8,500 on TCG Player. So this card is quite expensive. It makes a lot of sense because the population count for this card is extremely low. There's only about 200 in the PSA 10. So, pretty crazy price card. It is technically one of the lower performing cards in the past month, but that's just simply because this card is so expensive and not everybody has $7,500 or $9,000 to drop on this card. I don't think I'll ever have that much money to drop on one card like that. Hopefully one day when I'm at like more subscribers. Once again, subscribe if you aren't. But anyways, Roger is crazy. If anything, I would think that this one would have some of that regression that I talked about. Actually, Roger and Gear 5 Luffy and Ojo-san Luffy, those are some of the ones that, $8,000 and $9,000 for a card respectively just feels so high, especially with how new of a trading card game we're still in. The set OP9 has only been out for a year, and the whole trading card game's only been out for 3 years. And to see some of these prices this high, that just goes to show how much people love One Piece, but also I kind of feel like we are more or less due for a little bit of regression. But regardless, I still think that we're going up even higher because, guys, once live action season 2 comes out, I think it's wraps. Actually, I know I've talked about this earlier, but I have to repeat it again. Here's my actual projection based off this chart. I did pretty much call this exactly, so hopefully, let's see if I can call it again exactly. But right now, we're here, but probably a little bit higher. I think we're going to go down a little bit, maybe to like right here, but then we're going to go back up again once live action season 2 comes out. So let's see if I'm right about that. Anyways, guys, OP9 Luffy is one of the craziest cards that I've seen. I absolutely hated on this card. I didn't think it was a great card, but it's a Luffy market right now. Everything's going crazy. Raw price is $1,350, and I did see this card in a PSA 10 go for $3,000. If you bought this card a month ago at $1,500, you literally 2x your money. You're up 100% on this card. Crazy. I wish that was me. I wish I bought this card at $1,500, but even I didn't have the foresight that this card would 2x in a month. I didn't think any of these cards would go up even 50% in the past month, but I think more eyes are getting on the trading card game in general. Maybe people are buying right now to try and front run the live action hype. If we're going even higher, then man, is this card a $5,000 card? I don't think so, but potentially I've seen crazier things. It's even crazy to say that this card went up 2x in the past month. So with the One Piece trading card game, I would say nothing's impossible at this point. Moving along, we've got Blackbeard. Blackbeard is about $850 raw, and that is up 38% in the past month, and in the PSA 10 is going for $1,400. So 40% increase in the past month in the PSA 10. I don't have too much to say about Blackbeard. I honestly think I'd feel comfortable paying around this price for the Blackbeard. He is, probably going to be the main antagonist for Luffy, whether it's Blackbeard or Emu. We're still not exactly sure yet, but he's definitely one of the main protagonists. And, I would think that this card does well over time. I mean, especially with the lore that we have about rocks right now in Blackbeard, I mean, it kind of feels like this card is potentially undervalued. And yeah, $1,400, I would say it's not a horrible price for Blackbeard. Next card we've got is Buggy D Clown, my favorite D Clan member. That's a joke, by the way. Raw card, $650. Wait, did I mess that up? Oh no, I think it's because... Wait, did I? Oh no, I actually messed that up. Oops, Kaizoku Ice messed up. Sorry guys. This card is $650 raw. And then in the PSA 10, it is $1,100. This card, I do love everything cross-guild related. Buggy, Crocodile, and Mihawk, I think is going to do well because, Buggy is literally a Yonko. He is a 4 Emperor. So, this card feels appropriately priced. I hope it doesn't go up higher. About $1,000, I think I'd feel comfortable paying for this card. But yeah, 30% increase and 29% increase on the lower end. But, it's probably just because it's Buggy and people are trying to buy other cards in particular. OP9 Shanks. $920 raw price, $1,500 PSA 10 price. Not too much of an increase in the raw price, but up 40% in the PSA 10. I still don't really love this card, but I say that about a lot of cards and they go up even more, like the Sogeking and like that Luffy from OP09. So I say that, but I don't think that the Shanks is going to go any higher. I mean, the OP01 Shanks is still so much better than the OP09 Shanks, and I'm not one to double dip. If I have one Shanks manga, I don't need a second one, and if I had to own one, it's OP01. So I don't care too much for this card. Speaking of cards I don't care too much about is OP10 in Law. This card has had a pretty crazy increase. Raw price is $700. I don't think that's right? What did I put here for the Law? Yeah, I think I put $560 because if I click view more data, yeah, it's about that $560 price right now. I don't think that this is a $700 card raw, and in that PSA 10, it's actually going for $800. So I don't think that TCG player price is correct. $800 for a PSA 10 though. I don't hate it. I honestly don't hate it. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a Law fan, but I'm still not buying it. But if you did want exposure into Law, because the OP05 Law is so expensive now, this is not a bad one. It is his Dressrosa outfit, which does look good. He's not showing too much here. It's his back view, so don't love to see that. But it's still Trafalgar Law. It's still a really cool card. And I still, more or less, like this card. Okay, guys, we're almost done. How long is this video? 28 minutes. Okay, I'm about to speed rapid fire out. EB01 Chopper, crazy card on TCG Player. Lowest listed is $3,500. That's not facts. That is fake. Yeah, it's about like a $1,200 card if you average it between the prices. And then a PSA 10 is about $2,100. I still think that EB01 and also the one below it, EB02, are they're made to be expensive because there's only one wave for both of those sets, and they're going to be harder to find because the box prices for both EB01 and EB02 are going to continue to climb, and nobody's going to rip them because it's just not advantageous at that point to rip those sets. So Chopper, great card. $2,100 honestly feels like a pretty accurate price for the Chopper because it is, no one's going to open up EB01 anymore. EB02 Luffy, I kind of skimmed through this one real quick, but it's at $3,000 right now, and that does make sense to me at least because EB02 had horrible hit rates. Everybody knows about that, so it was hard to get that Luffy manga rare. I mean, even the raw price, $1,700 is insane, right? On TCG Player, it does say $2,000, but I think the more recent souls were up $1,700, so kind of crazy that raw manga rare prices are going for like almost $2,000. I mean, I think this card has potential to go up even more. However, I will say this, however, don't FOMO into this card. I am not FOMOing into this card. EB02 is still technically out there. It's not even been a year since EB02 released. I'm hoping more people just like haven't gotten their grades back and more of this card go into circulation. But $3,000, guys, I could give y'all like 10 cards that cost $3,000 and you'd make more money buying those cards. So I'm not getting this card. I'm just not. It's too high. But I do love the card. And it has some pivots. So stay tuned for my video because there's a similar card that I think looks kind of similar and it's like 1/10 the price. Hint, hint. Anyways, PRB Nami. I think I've talked a lot about this card. I'm not going to go too into this card, but it is up quite significantly. 110% increase. I told y'all to buy this card, and if you listened, you win because you were up 110%. I didn't listen to myself because I was buying other things, so I missed out on this card, but it makes sense because PRB literally costs like $500 a booster box right now. So if no one's opening PRB, it makes sense why this card is so expensive, and that's why it's $2,000 right now in a PSA 10. Okay, Snake Man Luffy, Gear 4 Luffy, insane increases. Actually, when I looked at the raw price here on TCG Player, I was stunned. $1,100 raw is not the actual price. I averaged it to be about $700, but it kind of shows that there is clear demand for this card because Gear 4 Luffy, it's also sit on that like Luffy train of Gear 2 Luffy and Gear 5 Luffy. It just makes a lot of sense why this card is so expensive because if you're a Luffy collector, you're gonna want to like get that whole gear kind of like I guess line of gear transformations. So this is one that you have to have, and it makes sense why it's up 87.5% in the PSA 10 in the past month. Moving along, I'm going to kind of lump the SSPs together. So the SSP Luffy in the gold and silver and the Blackbeard in the gold and silver both have had a pretty significant increase in the past month. And it makes sense. The art on those cards, just real quick, they look beautiful, man. They look so good. Just, man, that's just amazing art and texturing and foiling in general. So no, I could see why they have such insane increases, 87.5%, 50%. And then for the Blackbeard, we didn't have any historical data, but it is up for at least the gold SSP, 44%. The price for the silver SSP hasn't changed at all, but I mean, that's kind of whatever. But I do like those cards. If you can get those cards for reasonable prices, I will get them as soon as possible because I do think that those are kind of underrated, honestly. And lastly, got the Bonnie from OP12. I'm not putting the Sanji manga in this, so the Bonnie is going to be the last one I talk about, but it's up 63% in this raw price in literally only 1 month, which, that just goes to show some of y'all are weirdos. Some of y'all like Bonnie too much, and I don't like that, but whatever. Bonnie is pretty cool. And then the PSA 10 price is actually, sorry, I think I put this one wrong. This should be red. I'm not going to update it now, but it's down 8%, but that's simply because there was no Bonnie PSA 10s on the market back a month ago because OP12, had just recently released. So I'm guessing price is more or less stabilized, and that's why it's at $1,100 right now. But Bonnie, I do like the card. I'm not buying it, but overall, pretty good. So I went over every single card, and I know that took a lot of time, but let me just give y'all my actual unfiltered thoughts here. I went through every card, but here's my overall opinion about the manga market right now. Let me make myself a little bit bigger for this because I want y'all to actually listen. Guys, right now is a seller's market, as y'all can see with some of those prices. I mean, $3,000 for the Shanks, $9,000, $8,000 for the Gear 5 Oda signed and Goldie Roger. Those are insane prices, and it's really hard as somebody that owns some of those cards to not want to sell. And I think there's people that are, stronger than me are actually selling all of their cards. And I do think that because it is a seller's market right now, you're going to see a lot of these cards really high price. And, I think that they're very high right now. And I do think they're going to go down a little bit lower because to see that big of an increase in the past month, that's just not sustainable. So as of right now, I'm going to tell y'all, just be comfortable with your collections. You don't need to feel and FOMO into these cards right now because even for myself, I'm feeling a lot of that FOMO, but I'm not buying. I'm so comfortable with all my cards right now. And if anything, if you want to buy some other stuff, just wait on my other videos. I have a lot of other, in my opinion, you know, cheaper and more budget cards that have a lot more potential to go up. Like, if you're buying a Shanks right now at $3,000, that means that you think it's going to go up to $6,000 or $5,000. And in my personal opinion, I just don't see it happening. And I might be wrong about that, but for a card to go up, right, if you go back, I'm not going to go to the Excel sheet now because I made my face too big, but to go from like, what was it, $1,900 in a PSA 10 to $3,000 in 1 month, if it's going to go up again to like $4,000 to $5,000, now we're talking like 200, 300, 400% increases. And that just seems so unlikely in the next month, especially with OP13 coming out. I just don't see it. However, this is the last thing I'm going to leave y'all with. I don't see the prices going up in the next month or two. I think it's going to go down a little bit. But come time for 2026, bar economic collapse, which could potentially happen. Once you get live action, guys, I think, let's say, for example, with that Shanks, it's at $3,000 right now. Maybe it goes down to like $2,500 or $2,000. I think it will easily reclaim its all-time high of $3,000 and go up potentially even more with the release of the live action. Here is my exact thought. After OP13, cards are going to go crazy. Maybe some buying and selling of some sort, whatever. Cards plateau. But when we get in 2026 with OP14, I don't think OP14 is going to do that well. But we're going to have the live action come out. And I think that a rising tide lifts all boats, and we're gonna have a little bit of a dip just because people sell their cars, you know, in the Christmas time or so. But you know, past that, guys, once live action comes out, I think we're gonna go up even higher. So that's my thesis on everything. If you have the money for it, I still wouldn't buy mangas right now, but if you really want to, you can. But I am staying put. I'm staying put with my collection. I'm enjoying the ride, just enjoying seeing these prices go up and not doing anything. And I'm telling the Kaizoku crew right now, please, please, please do not FOMO into some of these cards. They are very expensive. And I'm telling y'all, I think we're probably going to see a little bit of a dip, but I think it's going to go up a little bit more, even in the like 6 to 8 month range. So that's it for today's video. Very long yap session indeed. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all learned something. So let's do the giveaway now. To win one of these cards, there's gonna be 2 winners. All you have to do is comment down below what y'all think about manga rares right now. Do you think they're overpriced? Do you think they're right where they should be? Or do you think they're gonna go even higher? Do you disagree with me, right? So comment that down below. It'll enter you in to win one of these 2 cards. For every giveaway I'm doing this week, I'm gonna draw the winner on Monday, so just expect like a YouTube post, I guess on Monday. So yeah, just comment down below. Make sure you're liking and commenting and subscribing to my channel, and also follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. But anyways, guys, very long video. I hope y'all enjoyed this version of Kaizoku Ice podcast at this point, because almost 40-minute video is kind of disgusting. So I'm sorry if y'all don't enjoy these long videos, but I had to tell y'all, I had to give y'all the numbers, and I hope y'all actually enjoyed the data behind everything. So I am Kaizoku Ice. Hope y'all enjoyed. Stay cool, stay chill, and I will catch you on the next video.